So I'm speaking for the motion of the UAE Mars probe mission. So I think this
Yes.
point is justified that the UAE has spent over $200 million on the Mars probe mission because the Amal probe reached Mars after a 7-month journey, making the UAE the first Arab country to launch a successful interplanetary mission. And the fact that the more than 150 Emirati engineers are working on this mission, the mission also includes over 200 engineers and scientists at. Over to you.
Now, good morning. Our name is Kabir Ali Khan, student of 8A, and we'll be speaking on the topic UAE Mars mission. UAE Mars mission. I'd like to start by saying a quote as said by Ray Bradbury in 1973. We are all children of this universe, not just Earth or Mars or this system, but the whole grand firework. And if we are interested in Mars at all, it is only because we wonder over our past and worry terribly about our future. The, the quote is perfect for any astronomical center. This quote is used to inspire people, but during a global pandemic where the world is basically shut down and is in a state of lockdown, spending 2.5 million, as you mentioned, and spending 6 years of work is not human. There are people dying each day because of this pandemic, but there are people dying each year of this pandemic due to vaccines not reaching them, due to not having regular tests. But UA has decided to spend $2.5 million on a project. On to you, Joshua.
I think you have a point that we are spending money on the project rather than the treatment of over billions of population of the people all over the world. But if you look at this in certain way, this could be a gateway to escape because you might not know that you can start a civilization on Mars because you get some information about the Martian atmosphere, which helps you know about your at the space around us. And anyways, the lockdown is there for a reason, so the people are safe. On to you.
Delegate, as you mentioned, we can create a civilization on Mars. But what happens to civilization when there is no one alive? This global pandemic has to stop, or else every human being will have this disease and may be harmful to a lot of people. Delegate, there have been 4.43 million people due to COVID deaths due to COVID, and there have been hundreds of million of people who have COVID but have not been tested due to there not being enough vaccines, and there have not been enough centers where people can be tested in countries that are not tier 3 or tier 1. There are also cases where people die due to there not being enough beds in hospitals, people not having enough room in hospitals, there are not enough centers, not enough doctors. Delegate of $2.5 million, which is a lot, was used to prevent and to stop the spread of COVID. It would have helped the world a lot, and the mission would have gone better with a lot of people using their own minds instead of a selected few. They might have been instead of 150 Emiratis and 200 scientists, as you mentioned, there might have been many more from different countries who would have come to UAE just for this project and to just help people of UAE. I use this mission as a gateway, as you mentioned, into the future. But what about a future where no one's there? Who's going to be there? Just want to you.
Okay, but as you mentioned that the COVID could kill people, it is not the our problem because people nowadays, if you go, you don't see them wearing masks. You see them going outside more normally, even though there is a worldwide lockdown. So if you see, it's really not our fault that they are leaving now, and we gave them and we told them the provided risk for coming in this mission also. So they must have been aware of the risk, but it was their choice. Over to you.
Delegate as it's natural when a person is said not to do a certain action, he does it. Delegate. This project has been going on for 6 years, and I'm pretty sure the government had spent more than $2 billion at least before the start of 2020. And COVID started end of 2019. If every country, or at least UAE, had decided that this might turn out to be something even close to this pandemic, they should have used that money to prevent it rather than letting it spread. We had 2 whole years where we could have made this project from excellent to just brilliant. But then this pandemic hit us, and the world had just gone into a shutdown where nothing worked. If this pandemic continues, which it shows no signs of stopping, there is a high chance that this may continue, and there's no way we stop it until unless we start giving everyone vaccines or have enough beds to prevent those who have this disease getting well. On to you, Joshua.
The as you said that 6 years ago they started this mission. 6 years ago there wasn't COVID, and the COVID struck them unknowingly, and they had to like continue the mission so far because a lot of money was spent on this mission. And if you leave some work halfway done, it's a waste. It's basically a waste. And anyways, the lockdown has anyways provided enough safety procedures to help people survive the lockdown. And as I said, people are not following those rules very well. And all the countries are trying their very best to give all the vaccines and make it reach to every people, even the poor and the lowest of castes. Over to you.
Like as you said, the governments have been sending vaccine to people of poor and local castes, as you said, Delegate. That's the case for certain countries like UAE, US, the UK, but Delegate, this is not the case to every country. Delegate, have you seen any video of China during the COVID? Delegate, people are scared and people do not have to go out until and unless they are living in certain parts of country where it's common for people to not wear masks, and that is because the people's mentality have changed. They have been in lockdown for way too long. This pandemic should have been done and dusted when it started. We shouldn't have let it come to this phase. If the world has been in lockdown, has come back from it, the people don't care enough, and then they are sending it back into lockdown. UK, which was back into lockdown and everything was working properly, had gone into a tier 5 lockdown, which was the greatest lockdown UK has ever seen, just cause of disease or just cause of COVID. If the UAE Mars project was stopped after 5 years, there's a year delegate. With there being more people over there and with UAE informing more people about this topic, which they would have to prevent the money being wasted, there would have been way more people there and would have costed less money for UAE to do that. And delegate, as you said, working on a project halfway done is like a waste. It's like complete delegate. I like to give you an example. It's like completing a notebook before exam, but not studying it.
Yeah.
On to you, Joshua.
So, as you said, there has been a tier 5 lockdown, people are dying and that other stuff. But people are like trying, I mean, the government are like trying their best to give the vaccine to others. If you have seen the news, India has like started spraying the sanitizers around the roads everywhere. People are nowadays in many parts of the world walking out freely without with the mask. Some are removing it. Still, they are very safe. Not the whole world is in the tier 5 lockdown. And if you say about UK's condition about the tier 5 lockdown, it must have been due to their reason. And they might their own problems. Not all the countries like have the exact same issues which they share. Over to you.
Delegate, as you said that India has been spraying vaccines all over the country and has been preventing people from going out, and the case that UK is facing is not everywhere. Delegate, this is how COVID spread. The case was in China, followed by it spreading to around the world, and then now look at it, it's everywhere. Delegate, uh, UK had a case of COVID, which was not COVID. It was something that affected young people. COVID M17, which affected people who are under the age of 7 and stopped them from breathing. Delegate, that's dangerous. And if that spreads around the world, it's going to be even worse. Delegate. It's going to
Uh,
be even worse. As you said, India has been spraying prevention, has been spraying vaccine around the country and has been preventing people from going out and visiting other people. Delegate, but it's not possible to do that to 1 point something billion people. Delegate. There are way too many people in this world for us to do that every now and then. Delegate. It's gonna cost us way too much, and it's gonna hit the world way too hard in the foreseen future. To stop this, we should have used a chunk of money right now with us to prevent it rather than using a little amount which would gradually turn out to be huge in in a year or two if this disease continues and if it's not stopped by this year. On to you, Joshua.
But as you know, the disease is spreading so fast. In India, hospitals are open till approximately 3 a.m., helping people, admitting thousands of people coming in sick, and making those come out with huge recovery rates and saving many people's life. It has a bit of potential in it. But as you said, the money has been sent to waste due to the UAE probe Mars mission. But as I said, it would be a waste not completing a certain project, task, or whatnot. Over to you.
Delegate, as you said, India has hospitals open till 3 a.m., but delegate, people might get sick at any time. There is no certain time that the person has to get sick from 3 to 3. It's not like that, delegate. A person can get sick in the morning 6 or in the night 4. Delegate, the person has no time or the sickness never tells you when it's going to come. COVID can strike at any time and you have to be ready. There are not enough hospitals, as I said before, as I mentioned, to help every human being. There are not enough beds, not enough vaccines, and we do not have enough doctors available to help fight this disease. Delegate. On to you, Joshua.
Okay, so as you said that many people around the world, like COVID causes people of breathlessness, they can't breathe, they feel suffocating and all that other stuff. So can I ask where is that? Where it's coming from?
It's from UK and that caused the TFI lockdown.
Okay, it's from the UK cause of TFL lockdown. So the cause of this is COVID-19 spreading around. So the cause of spreading around, as you know, that there are many people who don't like to wear masks. They just roam around. And if I don't know if you heard of the term Karen, but that's basically it. And as speaking of India, the doctors and all, the India is trying their level best. All the ministers are doing this all for their promotion and other stuff. So they are spending all the money on this exact thing, helping opening up more doctors. I mean, more hospitals, getting more doctors. Many people risking their lives and ambulance on nearly every highway going to rescue people and giving people shelter like poor people so that the virus does not have a chance to strike on them and go to others. Over to you.
Delegate, as you said, India has been taking a lot of prevention and has been caring about themselves. But delegate, there are people in India in certain parts where they move around with no mask and they do not find it's necessary for them to wear it. They still think it's still a myth and do not think that it's a real disease caused and can harm people. But it's not possible for everyone to stay inside their home and keep them safe and have them wear masks. There have been certain rules, as you said, and there has been ministers, prime minister, high official ranking people who help them. But it's not possible for that help reach every single person. As you said, there have been people, the government sends help to people stuck and gives them shelter. But not everyone can be given shelter again. People lose their jobs and have to go out because they have no money due to COVID. Rather than helping everyone out, which is not possible, you have to stop what is causing the problem. Delegate. On to you.
Okay, so as you said, people are getting kicked out of their job because of COVID stuff and all. They have no sources of income and all. But as you see, the government has been providing food, money to many people in those in need. Provi- pro- for sure, even jobs they are providing, and this all is a must because it is the question of the society. And as you said that It's not possible to give everyone shelter. People don't listen and wear masks. Due to that problem, the Prime Minister of India and many ministers post like a live TV something where they tell it's important to wear the mask, and in they make sure that everyone they see on a normal street walking around wears a mask, and they make it necessary. And and you said that people are not wearing masks, police are there that help them wear the mask. They are always patrolling the cities and the valleys everywhere, day and night. Humanity increases, the need for people helping each other increases, and with that sympathy and empathy, and so and the people support each other in difficult times, and
Delegate, as you said, uh,
the social work is improved. All people are coming together and doing various tasks which alone a minister or many people cannot achieve. So as I said, you carry on.
as you said, there are people coming together and helping, fight COVID, and minister doing live TV shows to say how you have to stay in homes, be quarantine yourself, self quarantine, do not go outside and wear masks when you go outside, right? But
Yes,
again, the problem with India right now is there are people who are there living in certain parts of the countries who think it's a myth. They do not think COVID exists. They do not think they need to wear a mask. India had gone through a huge lockdown where the people were not allowed to go outside for anything. They were not allowed to go outside for any reason. It's not like UAE where you are allowed to go outside with the permit, something like that. In India, it wasn't that. It wasn't the case. You were stuck inside. It's basically, as I said at the start of the meeting, when a person is said not to do something, the person does that more. That's the that's the case with every child in this world, with you and with me. If we are said to do something, we won't do that. But if we are said to not do something, we will do that. Delegate, the people of India need um, spreading news about us not going outside, us staying in home. It's not going to affect a lot. It's going to affect people, but it's not going to affect the world. It's going to affect a certain part of the place where people listen, but it's not going to affect the whole world in the grand scheme of it. It's just like how we people do enough schemes, enough advertising on how global warming spreads, but it still has not affected a lot. It has affected a lot of people, a lot of places, but in the grand scheme, it's close to nothing. We do not do something until unless it has affected everyone to call it a success, or at least more than 60% of the people should know about this and should head, you know,
yes.
cure
Any
it. But with COVID, the thing is, if even one person has it, we have reached 99.99% of people wearing a mask, staying at home, not going outside. But that one person, he can spread COVID. That's how it started. On to you, Joshua.
Okay, so as you said that people don't listen, they don't wear masks, they think COVID is some sort of myth, something pulled out of someone's pocket, but you do not know. The world has seen enough deaths to find out that it's not a myth. If you think it's a myth, then walk out without a mask. So like that situation it is. And as you said that the people's greed, their self-caringness, they are selfish and they don't care about others. Like even if the world is dying, they'll go after them. As you gave an example of global warming, no matter how many people have said about it, nothing has changed about it. And as you said that people in India are like not able to go outside, that was a long while ago, because nowadays, like if you read the news, then Bangalore and other states of the country are like nearly COVID free. People are walking freely there, and the situation you described was approximately a year ago in 2020. Now it has probably became better. Over to you.
Delegates, it's naive for the government of us people to think that people will listen. As you said, certain parts of India like Bangalore and certain places are nearly COVID free. Again, the word nearly COVID free. COVID started from a person eating an infected bat. A person. If one person has that disease and is not known to the government that he has a disease, it's going to be for no use. It'll just start over. We have to find a cure before starting lockdowns. Lockdowns were done so that the government has enough time without these cases spreading out a lot to find a cure. But we failed to do that because we do not have enough time and delegate. That's what I'm saying, delegate. We people or the government needs to find a cure before needs to find a cure before saying people to do this, because people will not do it. It has nearly been 2 whole years where we have been forced to wear masks, and it's what we have to do basically to go outside. On to you, Joshua.
So as you said that the lockdown has been initiated so that they get time to get the vaccine, and you said people are not listening, and also you have a point there. Some people think that the virus can't do anything to them because they have got the vaccination, but as I remind you, the vaccine has been found, and people and the countries are helping each other in need, like giving the vaccine to the other poor, middle, like lower in income countries, and helping each other out. And the lockdown has been initiated so that the virus is like avoided to spread around. So even if a person got the COVID-19, it would stay in his house, or it would mostly just go and end at a hospital or spread to his family members. Over to you.
Joshua, as you said, if a person has COVID-19, he'll stay in his house, spread to his family member, or end up in a hospital, right?
Yes.
So yes. So as I said at the start of the meeting, there are not enough beds. Firstly, not enough centers for tests, and in some countries, people cost the tests cost a lot of money and is not affordable by a lot of people. As you said, in certain parts of India where the population, where people do not have enough money to go do a test, but they may feel like they have COVID. That is the case in India. The number of cases in India that have the number of COVID cases in India are insane. They are mind blowing. But if every single person in India was tested, this number will go skyrocketing. It's insane how high this number will go if we had tested every single person in India. India's population is of 1.2 billion. It's not possible that every person over there has a COVID test, but we can't even do it for around 500 million people. If we had at least done half of our population, would have at least been sure that this India will not have an insane number of people who have not done the test and have COVID. But again, COVID does not stay with you. I may have done the test a day or two ago, and today I may meet someone who's COVID positive and does not even know he is, and we meet. On to you, Joshua.
Okay, so as you said that India does not have many centers or hospitals or beds, as you say, but you do not know the fact that countries are lending each other. So they are not only lending the vaccine, they are lending medical welfare and other stuff to each other, like beds, hospitals. And if you see, India is always on the move on building hospitals, getting more people admitted, curing them, get giving them shelter and other stuff. And as you said that if you go and test negative for COVID and you meet someone who's positive, and you might get the vaccine because I mean you might get the COVID-19, but it is because but if you're wearing a mask and the other guy is also wearing a mask, then it's not possible. On top of that, why would you have to go out in such a time other than getting the vaccine tested on you and then you go? Over to you.
Because that's the thing about lockdown. People do not have to go outside, but as I said before, people will go outside. It's what people do and have been doing. It's really naive of us people to do that, but it is what happens, and it is something that's happening. That's happening. As you said, why would a person go outside during a pandemic to just meet someone or to go shopping? But people do. If you have been to Dubai Mall or City Center or anywhere where people go or Burj Khalifa even, you may see how cramped it is and how packed it is. It's not like we are going through a pandemic and there's a virus that can kill everyone. No, it's normal. It's basically how it used to be before. and even at some places, even larger.
Okay.
On to you, Joshua.
So as you said that people meet each other, I can agree with that. I have my relatives meeting me now and then the last 2020, and I'll tell you, they have been taking all safety regulations, and some of them were even on online Zoom meetings, as you know of. And as you said that people are moving around, leaving their house, walking around, going outside. So they have been doing that with all safety regulations. If you see any normal human being, they are normally every 5 minutes after coming in contact with anything, they are sanitizing themselves. Why do they do that? Because it's of the safety regulations, and it helps them stay clear of the COVID-19. And as you said that people don't have much jobs to do and other stuff, uh, there the government has initiated this thing work from home, as you are aware of the fact, because it's also applied on schools. Over to you.
Very good, as you said, the government has applied the policy of work from home that's applied to us as well. But government, the people and the officers had suffered enough loss during this pandemic for them to fire a lot of people. They had suffered enough loss for them to not be able to pay everyone who's working for them. So they had to fire a few people so that the others may have money. Then again, the officers had cut their paycheck and had made their paycheck lower, but still the loss was way too great, way too big for the government, for the offices to pay out the people consistently. There had been many months where people were not paid. There had been few months or few weeks where people were not having the salaries given to them, and when it was given, it was half of it, or even in some cases quarter. As you said earlier, people visit certain parts of the world like Dubai Mall or the Burj Khalifa, the biggest building in the world. People will be there. But then again, people who have been there always, you have to see that if you have gone outside, you should have noticed that people do not wear the mask properly anymore. They have it beneath their nose, which has no use basically. It's easier to say this when you're inside, but when you go outside, you feel how hard it is to keep wearing a mask on your nose, which prevents you from COVID, but then it's not possible to wear that for a long trip. Or if you're going outside the country for some work or to meet someone, which I don't know why a person would do during a pandemic, but people do that. You can't deny that. There have been millions of flights that have been going on during this pandemic, and spread a lot of cases. As you said, UK and UAE has cut lines of what we call planes to UK. India has stopped sending planes to UK, receiving them. But again, UK has flights being able to send to different parts of the country, and and there may be one person, just one person with that disease, can reach a country, infect a few, go back to UK. The people from those countries may come back to a country such as UAE, spread it, and then again, what happened with COVID repeats, and the disease never stops. This disease is something that's fragile, and it's not something that we can stop by just set people to stay inside, to wear masks. It won't stop. And these masks that we wear are not 100% sure of protecting us. Even if we are sitting next to a person with COVID, we both have masks. It's not possible for both of us to. It's not possible for me to not catch COVID even if I'm wearing a mask. The likelihood of me catching COVID is really high, and it's surprising how it may affect you still, even though you're wearing the mask properly, wearing gloves. On to you, Joshua.
Okay, so as you said that, I agree with you. I have been to malls getting some groceries and other stuff for my house and with my parents and all, but as you said, it's impossible to keep a mask on your face for that long because you get a bit of a weird feeling. So you are right, people put their mask under their nose for a while and then walk around. But they keep their distance, if you ask me. They keep their distance, and as you said, people are moving through flights. If one guy has COVID, you know what the greater risk is. So if you don't know, before you enter the airport or other places, they check they have that some thermometer stuff. They check you from afar and check you have COVID. I think it's time to end the meeting here. Let's go. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.